Here on Midwest Access today, watercolor artist Nicole Hansen is here to show us some of her work from her collection. She also can do custom paintings, and she also is a part-time nanny, part-time artist. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming in. And you have some artwork here. It actually matches your shirt a little bit. I like it.
It's one of my favorite colors.
It's so pretty. So you painted a house here. This is watercolor.
Yes.
And this is just a random house.
It's just a random house. I was driving by, thought it was pretty. So I took a picture so that I could paint it.
And I was joking, I said some realtors should hire you, but you said you do have some realtor friends that utilize you.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Once they sell a house, they may contact me to create a house portrait as part of the closing gift for the people who bought the house.
That is so cool, and that's smart for you too.
Yeah.
Any realtors looking for a good gift idea, this is one, absolutely. Or maybe even if you move away from a house that, you know, if you're an older person and maybe downsizing, you could paint a
some
picture of their old
people
house.
have hired me for a new house. Some people have hired me because they are moving away from a well-loved house, or I've been hired for anniversary gifts to do house portraits, housewarming parties, all kinds of things.
So do you specialize in houses, or
I really do like to paint the houses. I also do custom landscapes and custom pets.
Okay, here we have a waterfall. You painted that too?
Yes, that's Niagara Falls.
Oh, it is Niagara Falls. Fantastic. So what inspired you to get into watercolor painting?
I was an acrylic painter for a very long time, and then when my husband and I moved into our first apartment, it was fully carpeted. And I'm a sloppy painter.
Sure.
And I decided that I wanted to get the security deposit back, and that is why I switched to watercolor. And I have not gone back.
A smart decision. A smart decision. You got the security deposit back,
yes.
I assume. Okay, good, good. So for folks at home who maybe have never tried watercolor, what advice would you have for them?
I like to use more paint than you would expect to use because it's watercolor. People will think to super dilute it, but you can get some really rich colors by using less water to paint ratio.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where do you get your paint?
I buy from Michael's.
Okay.
I use Winsor and Newton's. I buy a tube of paint and squeeze a chunk of it out into my palette, let it dry, and then because it's watercolor, just rehydrate it as I need it.
So with the house here, do you outline it with pencil or something?
Yeah, I start with a pencil sketch, then I do the line work with a waterproof pen.
Okay.
And then I go in and do base watercolor layers and then add it up shadows. And
has art been in your life ever since you were young?
Oh yes. I once was complaining to my mom that all of my younger sisters got piano lessons and I didn't get any lessons. And she was like, Nicole, you got art lessons. And I was thinking back and I was like, I did. I got a lot of art lessons over the years.
And here you are, utilizing that today.
Yes, yeah.
That's so great. So where can people find you in Rochester?
I am just I'm a displaying member at Gallery 24 in Rochester, and you can also find my art on my website, NicoleHansenArt.com.
Can we buy it at Gallery 24?
Yes, there are some pieces there, and there are more prints and things available on my website.
Perfect. What's your favorite thing to paint besides houses?
Landscapes. I love to paint water and oceans.
Do you have a favorite picture that you can remember?
No. Last year I painted over 100 paintings.
Okay, so you can barely remember all of them.
There's a lot to pick from.
How often are you painting then?
Fairly often, but not every day. To be a professional artist, I also need to spend some time on the business side.
Sure.
So it's about half and half split, but most weeks I get a painting or two finished.
How has business been? It's always hit or miss, it feels like, with art. And sometimes people don't appreciate it as much as they should, local art especially. How has business been for you?
I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I have been, so last year was my first year really trying to be a professional artist and pay bills with art.
Sure.
And I have been going through a learning curve of what prints actually sell, what do people enjoy, and what will people buy, and finding that balance. And around Christmas time, I think I started finding a groove. So.
What was the most popular?
I paint mice reading books. And people really love those.
Interesting. So, see, I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
Mice reading
books. Reading a book while scuba diving underwater.
How did you think of that?
I was brainstorming with my sister-in-law. Yeah, all the different places the mouse could read.
What brought you to a mouse, though?
So the mice started, I thought it was random. And I was telling somebody, it was just random, I had no idea. And my husband reminded me that when I was very young, maybe 12 years old, I shared a bedroom with my sister. She was 7 years younger than me, and every night she wanted a bedtime story. And instead of coming up with something new every night, because I was running dry on ideas, I made up a family of mice that I could send on adventures every night. So that is where the mice started.
And they're selling.
Yeah.
Like
so I would draw them back then too, and she would color them in during the next day.
That's funny.
and-
So it actually means something to you, but other people like it as well.
Yeah. Or they absolutely hate it.
Sure. But hey, it sounds like
There's no in between.
that's okay, as long as some people are buying it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
More details on our website where you can find Nicole's art and learn a little bit more about her. Born in Illinois
Yes.
and then lived in Wisconsin for a bit, and now you're in Rochester.
Yeah.
All right, we're happy you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. More to come on Midwest Access, including a look at weather, some fresh snow in Rochester.